What is going on, people, man? This is Tony Polanco here with Dana Abercrombie.
Woo!
And we're
Pronounce
here.
my name correctly.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard some really fucked up, like, iterations of your name. I'm like, just say it like they say it in the commercial. It's simple. All right, so today we're here to give you a non-spoiler review of Infinity War. This is going to be very hard because it's difficult to talk about this movie without spoiling stuff, but we're going to give you the spoiler one after the movie comes out. But today, embargo's lifted, and we're giving you our non-spoiler review. So we'll start off with you, Dana. What are your quick thoughts before we get a little bit deeper into this?
The sudden emotion would just be drained, but like in a very beautiful, positive, appreciative way. I just want to like thank Marvel for letting the Russo brothers do what they did and just say screw everything. We're gonna do it our way.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have one of the most impactful movies in the MCU universe of movies.
Yeah, like, make no mistake, and this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, this is the best MCU movie released. Yes, this is better than the mighty Winter Soldier. Like, this is real right now. This is very much real. And this is a non-spoiler thing, but you guys who've seen this movie will understand. Watching this movie made me feel the way I did as a kid watching the Transformers movies, particularly the first third of that movie. Holy crap, they don't care. They went there. They really, really went there. You know?
This basically poops on any Transformers movie, 1/3 or anything.
Yeah, I'm specifically talking about the cartoon movie. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That feeling that you got when you first saw that movie. Again, I can't say it without spoiling it. And Dana, if you haven't seen that movie, I'll explain after this. But, ooh, man, they didn't care. They did not care. All right, let's get into some specifics without getting into specifics. This movie was really about something that Marvel hasn't really focused on. The villain. It was Thanos' story.
It was his story.
It was his story. And I like how they made him sympathetic. We can't talk about this. They talk about this in the synopsis. Basically, Thanos' goal is to wipe out half the population of the entire universe. And to do that, he needs the Infinity Gauntlet. And the whole movie is basically him trying to get the Infinity Stones, as they call them in the movie, and the heroes trying to stop him to varying degrees of success. So, yeah. So what did you think of the way Thanos was handled in his quest and all that?
All right, here's the thing. Thanos is not a villain, and he's not a hero. He's a man with a purpose. And even if I say man, as in like he is, it's hard to describe, but he's very humanistic in his actions. Even if you agree or don't agree with them. This is not someone who's like, I'm going to be bad just to be bad, or I'm going to play the villain because this is my role in the movie. This is someone who has taken upon himself to carry out this task. And through the movie, you see the weight and the burden that he carries because of this task. This is not something that's like, yeah, I'm screw it all. This is all about me. There is no ego, which I loved, and you do not see that, especially today. There's nothing about ego. There's nothing about power. There's nothing about greed. It is something that he feels has to be done in order to better all kind.
Yeah, and again, not gonna say anything here, but it really comes at a big personal cost to him, which I really liked. This is gonna sound very like heretical to the comic book fans, but I liked Thanos' motivation in this movie way more than even in the comic books. In the comic books, it was, in my personal opinion, stupid. Yeah. Like he wants to kill half the universe because he wants to please death. It's like, so you're really doing all this to try to get some booty? It's stupid. You know, but in the movie, you know, it's very personal for him.
Very personal. There's no booty. There's no booty calls.
None of that. Yeah, because one of the, and I'm going to just debunk this theory right now. One of the running theories is that Hela from the Thor Ragnarok movie was going to be the stand-in for death. No. Thanos is very much his own character. And here's something I want to talk to you about, Dana. I was talking to somebody else who did see the movie, and they brought up a great point. They were saying that they loved the way Thanos was, animated and how realistic it looked. And that made me realize, holy shit, while watching this movie, that didn't even come to mind. Like I was so like engrossed by the character, I didn't realize that he was a big CG monster. Basically, like that's how you like when you don't recognize the special effect. That's how you know they did a good job. He looks like he belongs in every scene, and a lot of that has to do with Brolin. Like it was him. Yeah. He is Thanos. It's incredible.
It's incredible, the voice. I don't know that I'm going to say probably motion cap also.
Yeah, motion capture, yeah.
That, of course, helped with the performance, but the man's voice, the acting that he did with just the voice and the way how they just combined it with these scenes, it was, sorry, for me, it was his best performance.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and that's a good way of putting it. It's a performance because it's not just his voice; it's all his mannerisms. Like you see a lot of like what he's feeling. He doesn't tell you like I'm feeling this. Thanos doesn't really like that. You see it in his eyes. You see the motivation, the drive, the pain. You see all that just through his eyes without him even vocalizing it. This is how you know. Like they must have put like a million little tracking balls on Josh Brolin's face to capture all that. It's insane, man.
It is. And I love there's two scenes in particular. There's one, I can say it's with Gamora.
Yes.
And it is the most heartfelt scene where you realize what's the relationship between both of them, and you realize how they were both wrong in their interpretation of each other's relationship.
Yeah.
With each other. So it was that scene, and then there's a scene. We also get a story of Gamora. We finally get the origin. Many people were complaining that there wasn't really an origin story with Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We didn't really got that. Instead, we just got two sisters bickering back and forth. But we got the relationship between her and her father, and we got a little bit with her and her sister. Everything was already explained kind of in Volume 2, but we kind of got a little bit more in Infinity War. But the origin story with both of these characters, where you see how both sides were wrong and how both sides were right, and how they both misunderstood each other, which made it even more heartbreaking what happens with the relationship dynamic later on in the movie.
Yeah, for sure. And just going back to the structure of the movie, what I really liked about this gave me the feeling of the first Avengers, in the sense of, okay, that movie, and just like this one, as soon as it starts, it sets up this looming threat that's coming, and the whole movie is permeated by that. But unlike the first Avengers movie, which I love too, it doesn't have that middle that drags out. There is no like minute of this movie, no second of this movie that's wasted. Everything is very economical. And I like the fact, and this is something you and I talked about as soon as we finished watching. It's like you had so many different stories, so many different subplots, so many different characters
and
running around. Locations, yeah, throughout the entire universe, and it all made sense. You understood where characters were, what they were doing, where they were, like what motivated them. It was so well done. Like this stuff isn't easy. There's a reason why other people who have tried to create a big cinematic universe like this have failed. This shit is not easy. Marvel makes it look easy, but it really isn't. And this goes to the mastery of the Russo brothers. I mean, they already showed that they could juggle a lot of characters and plots with Civil War, but on this one, they take it to another level. And I would say this one's even more comprehensible than even Civil War or, you know, Age of Ultron, because of the fact that even though you had all this shit going on, you know, throughout the universe, it was still very much centered on Thanos. Like he was always there, even if he wasn't on screen. You know, and I think that was a very well done. Same thing with the actors too, just being able to keep all that together, all the pieces. Again, that's not easy. So you have to really give respect to the Russos for having all this stuff going on. You know, so yeah, what did you think of the way they put all this together, all those different pieces together, getting them all moving at the same time, but without it all clashing together?
Yeah, I think that they did a beautiful job at this. And also, not just the fact that they was able to balance out all these characters, they was able to balance out humor and drama, where it was the humor was needed, because it was a heavy movie. When you really look at what's going on, it's heavy. And so the humor that they was able to put into it, it worked. And it wasn't like, remember in Guardians of the Galaxy, for me, the second one, everything seemed really forced because the first one was so successful, especially with the humor. So with this one, they tried to drive it up and make it forced. With Infinity War, I felt that everything occurred, even the jokes, was natural. You have to find some humor in some things. And also, they knew how to pair chemistry, which person would match well with each other in the chemistry department. Because you're getting, what was it? I can't even, what is it? Like, it's 19 different movies, but each one has their own, you know what I'm saying? Each one has their own movie with their own set of characters. And now all of a sudden, everyone's just kind of thrusted into each other, but it pairs off. Like, it's like an adventure movie. I actually would compare it to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I could see that with all those different characters and
Lord
stories
of the Rings,
going on.
remember how there's different sects, there's different sections of who belongs to which is different groups, and remember they all get separated, and they all end up having their own separate journey.
Yeah, I mean, and also same applies to Game of Thrones is set up like that too. It's like everybody starts off at one central point, and then they all get dispersed throughout the world. They all have their own little plots going on, but then it all converges back to itself. So
it's all one separate, but it's all for one mission drives them all.
Yeah, and this is for one single movie. This isn't a TV show or anything. So that makes it even more amazing that they're able to juggle all that stuff.
And they did that in a small, limited time. Like, this is not like a 5-hour movie.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was pretty much straight up like 2.5 hours, maybe even less than that. Like they packed so much in there, but you never feel exhausted by it. It just flows so well. It doesn't even feel as long as it is. Like, it feels like it's an hour-long movie, but it really goes on for a little bit. So yeah, again, you can't do this either. This is why, and I hate to say this, but I'm gonna just do it. This is why shit like Batman vs Superman and Justice League failed, because they didn't establish those characters beforehand. You know, you have, like you said, 19 movies preceding this one. That's what makes this one so eventful. And if you liked any of those movies, you're going to get those characters back. You're
getting those characters. You're getting characters you didn't think you was going to see ever again.
Yeah. I'm not, Dana, you know who I want to say? I'm not going to say, but yeah, there's some characters that you haven't seen in a long time that show up.
There's characters where you just like, wait, what the heck? And you got to go back in your memory Rolodex. And you're like, how?
Yeah, it's crazy. But going back to what you were saying about the humor, yeah, I did like it because I felt the humor in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Thor Ragnarok were way overblown and kind of took me out of it. Especially,
I loved Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Hush your mouth.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Ragnarok. But what I love about this movie, the Thor was back. He wasn't joking around. He was being serious again. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're always jokey characters, and they are actually the ones that provide the most jokes, especially Peter Quill, obviously. See, but if he didn't start joking around, that would be out of character. So it made sense that him and, you know, what's his face? Drax. Yeah, all of them.
Iron Man. But it's weird, because if you look at the characters themselves, you kind of see other characters in the characters that they have there. Yeah. So, like, for example, you do see Tony Stark in Star-Lord. Because you could see that joking, sarcastic, kind of little bit egotistical humor that he has. And they share that, you know, in their own separate movies. And then when you bring them together, it's like, wow, that's what it really looks like when they interact with each other. It's really crazy.
Yeah, like, you're right. Like, even though some characters have similar personalities, when you get them together, it's like, oh, wait, they're not similar at all. They're very different, because Tony, like, yeah, he jokes around stuff, but he's obviously very, very smart. Peter Quill's kind of a dummy, let's just be honest. but he gets
tries.
Shit done. He tries. And man, okay, again, I said this is very difficult because I can't spoil anything. What were some of, again, without spoiling too much, what were some of your favorite scenes from the movie?
Oh gosh. Well, the interactions that they all had with each other was the funny parts. That was much needed. Oh gosh, that ending. There is a sound that happens, and God, Lord in heaven, that was one of the best scenes for me.
Yeah, that ending was pretty powerful. And everything that led up to the ending, like the huge battle in Wakanda, was just...
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I think I almost ripped your arm off.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, that Wakanda scene where it's just... God because you don't know what's happening, but you kind of know because you're like, oh no, black people, this is not good, Africa, and they just opened, their borders, and they just, told people they exist, and the second that they tell them they exist, there's like this huge war, literally right at their door.
Yeah, that was interesting because remember the whole thing with the first movie is like Wakanda is like the only African nation that was never invaded, and this one it gets invaded by aliens.
It's invaded by everything.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Above ground, underground, side ground.
Yeah, but and I actually like this big Wakanda battle scene more than the one in actual Black Panther. I thought it was a little bit better done. Like the effects looked a little better. Then obviously you had all those heroes in there going ham and stuff. Oh, that was so good. Like, there's just so much action in there. But again, the movie is perfectly balanced between the character stuff, the action, the comedy. It just, again, like the Russos, like if I ever see them, I would like bow down to them somehow. Like, it's just amazing what they were able to do with this. And
and then the thing with the action is you get it everywhere. You get it in space. You get it on Earth. You get it on Wakanda. You get it in spaceships. You get it in sets that look like they're from Star Wars. You get a little Voldemort going on. The action scenes they're very crisp, they're well done, and they don't look CGI-y.
No, they don't.
You get that kind where it's like, oh yeah, that's fake. Or, that scream that you get, that whoa, when someone's like getting kicked off a mountain or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. No, everything is going to sound weird. It looks the most realistic. Even when you're in space, you're just fighting in space. And that's what space fighting looks like.
Yeah, because I think special effects, CG, and a lot of these superhero movies, even the Marvel ones looks kind of sketchy at times.
Well, remember it evolved over the years. What we had in the original Hulk with Edward Norton. That technology is way, way different than what we have now.
Yeah, but it's all in the way you film it too, because even if you go back to, not to get too off topic, even if you go back to the first Jurassic Park, that movie still looks better than a lot of other movies out now, and that's because they shot that in a very realistic way, and I think that's why this movie works well too, because they shoot those scenes in a very believable way. They don't just do it just to make it look cool and flashy. They try to shoot it as if there was an actual person with a camera there, and they didn't have any of those crazy film gradients messing up the colors and everything. But again, just going back to Thanos, just the fact that you don't even notice how great of a special effect he is lets you know how well it is. Like, if you could hide that shit, that's how you know you've done your job correctly.
He comes across as a human. And then also going back, that scene with Gamora was one of my favorite, because in that one scene you got the whole plot and the whole reason and the whole everything of that movie.
Yeah. Oh man,
you got
so
everything good in one scene.
Yeah, like.
And,
because we're about to wrap this up, but the hype is real, people. The hype is very, very much real. Please go see this movie. This movie. Oh, by the way, I guess this will be a good way of ending this. Do you predict, or do you think this movie is going to outgross Black Panther? Because Black Panther did crazy numbers. I think this one's going to do more somehow.
Yes, because here's the thing: you get everybody. So you get that audience that's longing for that. That was like for us. Yes, there was. What was it? That other movie? I can't remember. With Robert Townsend, Meteor Man. You had Meteor Man with the black superhero.
Yeah, I remember Black Meteor. Yeah, I remember Meteor Man. Yeah.
But there was Black Panther was such a thing for us that it was just amazing to be treated with such respect, and I think that it will, topple Black Panther's numbers because you get everybody. You get the return of the Black Panther crowd. You get the people who want the Spider-Man crowd. You get, all the Avengers crowds. And you get Guardian of the Galaxy. And this definitely apologizes for the second one.
So, yeah, for sure. It's just a great movie.
This is like 19 movies and 10 years in the making. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, get hype, people. This is the real deal. All right, so we're going to end here. So, again, just remember that this weekend we will bring you the spoiler version of this, where we're going to really go in. So get ready for that. I can't.
I will cry.
Yeah, I can't wait, because I know you're going to say one specific character over and over and over again.
It's how you do that, man? And that just goes back to how great the Russos were. They literally gave no farts to any feelings, any chronological orders, any passions, anything. I didn't care. They just didn't care. Oh God, no. More praise to them. Like I want to slap them, but I want to hug them at the same time.
There you go. That's a perfect way of ending this. So, all right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this. Go get, check out the movies Thursday night for a lot of you guys. So please go see it and return back here to the Koalition over the weekend. I'm not sure if it's gonna be Saturday, Sunday. It's gonna be one of those days. We're gonna bring you the spoiler version of this review. It's gonna be hot. So once again, I was Tony Polanco, and today I was joined by Dana Abercrombie.
Yay, Dana. What?
And we'll see you guys around, man. Peace out.
Wakanda forever.